Hey there guys, what's going on? Today we're back with another top 10 list discussing the top 10 most underrated guns in Modern Warfare in multiplayer coming towards the end of Season 3. I've not made one of these lists before, so some of you guys are bound to disagree with some of my opinions here. By underrated, of course, I mean powerful weapons that are constantly overlooked by other weapons in this game. I've got 10 of the best weapons in the game along with class setups and attachments for each of them, so for those of you who are after something a bit different outside of the M4 and MP5 spam, just quickly before we do get into our number 10 slot, let's try and get this video to 25 likes. You guys have been pretty huge with the support recently. We've gone up about 50 subscribers in the last couple of days, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the other videos coming up soon. So straight into our list here. So number 10 on our list, we've got a weapon that most people probably don't even have unlocked. The crossbow. To unlock this, I believe you have to get 5 kills with a marksman rifle with a reflex optic in 25 different games. This definitely can take a while to do and it's definitely a rewarding weapon to unlock. One-shot kills with this are super satisfying with this particular crossbow setup, and it wouldn't be much good if it didn't instantly kill people. With our class, we're looking for maximum bolt velocity here, so in this particular class we do have the 28 strand cable for the bolt velocity. We've also got the XRK Thunder 200 pound arms for the damage range and bolt velocity. Again, increased bolt velocity basically means that you have to lead your target less. It's easier to hit those longer range shots. Damage range, of course, adds to the maximum damage range of the crossbow for our one-shot kills. Next, we do have the stock slot, and we've got the Forge Tac Speed Track stock with all the aim down sight speed. Hard to say that 5 times fast. In the Underbarrel slot, we do have the F-Tac Speed Grip for the aim down sight speed, and of course, sprint to fire speed. Stipple grip tape bonuses there. And lastly, we do have the Sleight of Hand perk, of course, for the reload quickness, just letting us actually continue to play with our crossbow so it doesn't take super long time to reload our weapon. You can of course get taken out while you are sort of reloading, so you do have to stay in cover because sometimes you just get caught out, you move around the map and somebody will come up on you and you can't do anything about it when you've only got a crossbow. Interestingly enough, there is a bolt slot, but I found the most success with just the regular bolts. Like the Thermite bolts, the Venom bolts and the Fury bolts are all very interesting and they're definitely fun to use. Like you can just make people blow up, they're burnt to death, they get gassed, it's very, very entertaining, but I found the most success with just the regular bolts. In terms of the rest of the class setup here, this will apply to pretty much all of the classes, so I will not repeat myself. We've got the Akimbo 357 Snake Shot Revolver set up like this with the Compensator 357 Long Barrel, the Lightweight Trigger, the Snake Shot, and of course the Akimbo perk. The EOD, Ghost, and Track is in the perk slot, C4, and of course the Stim Shot. We're not going to say that again because most of these are the same on all of our classes, and I'll point it out if it is different here. The crossbow definitely is not the best weapon in the game, but it is really effective at what it does, and it's definitely underrated for sure. It's a good start and a number 10 slot on our list. In the number 9 slot on our list, we do have the SA-87, which is a weapon that probably none of you have ever used before. It's an LMG that does play an awful lot like an assault rifle with the right class setup here, and with our attachments we can make this fairly snappy in terms of aim down sight, fairly effective at range because this thing does deal about 32, 33, 34 damage per bullet, so you definitely can get a 3-shot kill at those medium to longer ranges because it is an LMG, so it is super effective at longer ranges. Very, very fun weapon overall. And in the barrel slot with our attachments, we do have the SA-87 25.4 inch factory barrel with the damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Of course, extending out our damage range means we can shoot people from further away. In the laser slot, we do have the TAC laser for the aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking steadiness. Really great to get those sights up really quickly, just get snapping on targets and move around the map very easily. In the stock slot, we do have the Forge Tac CQB comb, again for the aim down sight speed. Really important to get those sights up super, super quickly. We want the stipple grip tape for the similar reasons with the aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Again, just getting those sights up again, and the commando foregrip lastly, just to keep us on target with the horizontal recoil, because this weapon does have a little bit of kick normally. The SA-87 is actually a really fun weapon to use, and it's one of the sort of more different LMGs. Lets you move around the map a little bit faster. It's just one of those weapons that's definitely a bit different. Plays a lot like the Holger 26 or the MK9 Bruin when you've got it set up correctly. Just one of those weapons that's definitely a bit different to use, and it's one of the most fun weapons that you can use. Definitely underrated for sure. So number 9, we do have the SA-87. Number 8 on our list, we're going with the M13. This is one of those weapons that definitely has one of the highest fire rates in the game, but does have particularly low damage per bullet. For the most part, you're going to be looking at like 3 to 4 to 5 shot kills depending on the range. I don't actually think it's possible for you to get a 3-shot kill. I lied. So you're looking at 4 to 5 shot kills at most ranges, but you do have that incredibly high fire rate, so you're able to deal damage very, very quickly. This is a particularly effective weapon in Warzone, whereas in multiplayer, it's still good, but it's not going to be as effective as something like an M4, but still definitely one of the more fun weapons to use just based on the fire rate. As for a class setup, we do have the Tempest Cyclone Barrel, which does give us sound suppression and bullet velocity. Many people don't know that if it does say bullet velocity on your barrel option, it does give you a significant increase to your damage range, meaning this is probably about a 10 to 15% increase to our damage range as well. So it's very important that we do take this barrel. Next, we do have the no stock here, just for the movement speed and aim down sight speed. Letting us move around the map very quickly with a very high fire rate is super powerful in this game. In the underbarrel slot, we are carrying the Merc foregrip for the recoil control and hip fire accuracy. We're very accurate with our hip fire with this particular class setup. So if you do get close enough, you just spray loads of bullets downrange, absolutely bullet hose people, and just spray them till the end of time. Very, very effective. In the ammunition slot, we do have the .300 Blackout 30 round mags for the damage range, no visible traces, and no enemy skulls. Again, this is one of those really effective options to increase our damage range on a weapon that does struggle a little bit at range, so this can be very, very effective. This particular combination of attachments does turn our M13 into the Honey Badger from COD Ghost, which is a super powerful weapon, if a little bit underrated, just basically because that game was not received very well. And lastly, we do of course again have the stipple grip tape, get those sights up very, very quickly. The M13 is quite a low damaging assault rifle, but many people will be drawn to it based on the high fire rate. Just spraying so many bullets downrange is super satisfying. You can definitely do an awful lot of work here. So this is a perfect number 8 on our list. Definitely one of the more underrated weapons in the game for sure. In the 7 slot, I do feel like this is a little bit of a crime putting this low on this underrated list, but this is one of the weapons that I don't particularly like in this game, but definitely has the potential to be one of the best in the game for sure. The P90 is an SMG with a very high fire rate, high magazine, and medium to low-ish recoil. It's definitely not one of the best SMGs in the game, but you can still do some serious work with this. For whatever reason, people really do like the P90. I'm not a massive fan of it, but people do definitely drop nukes and are very powerful with this. When I take it, it seems like a little bit of a bullet hose. It just doesn't seem like it does an awful lot of damage, but it's still very, very effective in the right hands. As far as our attachments go, we do want the monolithic suppressor to increase our damage range, give us that sound suppression while we are firing our many, many bullets around the map. It helps to be staying off that radar. The FSS 10.6 inch Pro Barrel for the damage range bullet velocity. Basically, we aren't taking the Forge Tac Retribution as it does decrease our aim down sight speed by about 3 frames, which is not a good option. Like, you do get a little bit of extra damage range, like it's a 15% increase over the Pro Barrel, but the movement speed and aim down sight speed decreases really aren't worth taking over the FSS 10.6 inch Pro Barrel. In the stock slot, we do have the fly strap for the sprinter fire speed and aim walking movement speed, basically giving us some stalker-like benefits for this particular weapon, allowing us to move around the map faster, get those sights up quickly after sprinting, which you are always sprinting with these weapons like the SMGs. You sprint around the map, get those sights up super quickly, stray down someone and move on. The stipple grip tape in the rear grip slot is very important for getting those sights up again. Just sprinting around the map, get those sights up very quickly and spray down those people. And lastly, the perk with the sleight of hand. Basically, the P90 does have a very slow reload time despite having a 50 round magazine. You want more bullets, so getting the reload faster is very, very important. I think it cuts our reload down to about 1.5, 1.6 seconds compared to like 2-ish. Like, I think it's above 2 seconds normally, so this makes it very, very easy to continue spraying people down. The P90 is underrated for sure in this game, but it is definitely some people's favorite weapon. So big sorry if I did disrespect one of your favorite weapons in the game. I'm just not a huge fan of it, but that doesn't mean it's not one of the better weapons in the game for sure. Again, in the number 6 slot, it does feel kind of bad putting one of these weapons on the list. The PP19 Bison is still one of the best weapons in the game, but nobody uses it because it does get overshadowed by the MP5, MP7 guns like that. It's still a very, very powerful weapon in this game for sure. It does high damage per bullet, has a decent fire rate, middling recoil, moves around the map very quickly, and has an 86 round magazine. I think it is, what, 84 round mag, which is unbelievably high for an SMG. So of course our attachments are as follows. The monolithic suppressor, again for our damage range and sound suppression. We do have the 8.7 inch steel barrel for our damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Very important attachment on this particular class setup. Just being able to shoot our bullets further, faster, and be more accurate with them is super, super important. We do have the no stock for the movement speed and aim down sight speed again, allowing us to move around the map very quickly, be very, very effective at what we do. The 84 round helical mags is a hilariously large amount of bullets to have on an SMG. Means we can pretty much spray down targets until the end of time, never having to reload. And when we do have to reload, we'll have 84 more bullets to fire. Very, very effective there. And again, the stippled grip tape again rounds out this class setup. Again, I do actually rate the PP19 Bison very, very highly. It is one of the better SMGs in the game, probably third or fourth best in my opinion, but it's still severely underrated when you do compare it to some of the other weapons in this game, so this belongs on our list for sure. Probably could have been higher, as again, this is one of the other favorite weapons by people in this game. It's not one of my favorites, but it is still very, very effective at what it does. Plus, it's hard to go past 84 rounds in an SMG. Super, super strong. In the number 5 slot on our list, we do have one of the best LMGs in the game for sure, in the PKM. Basically, you can turn this into a very sort of a slightly slower assault rifle with decent damage, like very good damage, good range, sort of low recoil, and fantastic handling speeds. Like, it's one of those weapons that you can just convert from being a heavy LMG to sort of being a slower moving assault rifle. So of course we start with the monolithic suppressor again. Our damage range is very important on this, but we don't want to add one of the barrels just so there's slowdown, and the compact barrel sort of takes too much away from us, unfortunately. We do have the tack laser here as well for the aim down sight speed. Again, get those sights up nice and quickly. The no stock for the same reason in terms of the movement speed and aim down sight speed. The stippled grip tape, again, just one of those attachments that gets those sights up very, very quickly. And a super powerful underbarrel for the PKM in terms of the snatch grip for the recoil control and aim down sight speed. This is one of the better attachments in the game. Just get those sights up quickly and allows us to stay on target. Is very, very effective. I do really rate the PKM. I think there are probably better LMGs in the game now, but this is one of those weapons that's always going to do the job for you, always reliable. You get those bullets down range and on target very, very easily, and you're able to move around the map at a decent pace rather than a snail's pace like you would without these particular attachments. The PKM is definitely underrated for sure, as you don't see it too often, so it definitely needs to be higher up on this list. So number 5, of course, the PKM. In the number 4 slot, we do have the recently buffed Holger 26 in its G36C variant of the assault rifle variety. This is a very, very powerful weapon in this game now. Like, previously it was forgotten about, completely unused, nobody wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole, but now it's one of those assault rifle sort of LMG hybrids that does feel very, very nice. It's like a best of both worlds kind of style. You get the decent damage range and bullet velocity, sort of very rangy stats from the LMG category, and then you sort of transform it into being a faster moving assault rifle with the right attachments. Is very, very effective, and one of my more favorite weapons in the game at the moment. Our attachments here are as follows. Again, we do really need the monolithic suppressor here. Without a decent barrel, we don't really have the damage range and the punch to sort of kill those longer range targets, so we definitely need the monolithic suppressor for about a 20% increase to our damage range. Again, the no stock for our movement speed and aim down sight speed. Getting those sights up very quickly with this is super important. In the underbarrel slot, we do have the Merc foregrip for the recoil control and hipfire accuracy, just to keep us on target. It's very, very important here, as it does have a little bit of natural recoil. The 30 round mags are the thing that makes the Holger 26 the G36C. The aim down sight speed, sprinter fire speed, movement speed, and reload quickness with a detachable mag, a lower magazine size, but we do get an assault rifle in terms of our playstyle. And I think our reload speed, instead of being about 10 minutes, is about 1.5, 1.6 seconds instead. So this is a very powerful attachment and allows us to run around with the G36C instead of a big old LMG that isn't super powerful. And again, stipple grip tape, get those sights up nice and quickly. One of the better attachments in the game for sure. I do really rate the Holger 26 G36C variant. Like, it's just such a good option, way fun to use. Like, you get the best of both worlds with the LMG stats and the LMG range, damage profile, and things like that. And you get the assault rifle category movement speed and sort of aim down sight speed, moving around the map very quickly, get those sights up, get those bullets down range. So this is a very powerful option in this game and a worthy number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list goes to a very interesting weapon in the shotgun slot, for it is the R90 shotgun. Very, very interesting in terms of shotguns that people don't really rate this. Like, ever since the 725 was busted, it's not any good anymore. People always overlooked the R9, as it was basically the same thing with slightly less damage range, but more bullets to fire. So you could always spray people down without like having to worry about reloading as you would do with the 725. And then when the 725 got nerfs, people moved over to the Model 680 and didn't give the R90 the credit it deserves. It fires in 2 shots, so you fire your 2 shots, definitely get that kill if you are at the right ranges. You cock the gun again, and then you fire 2 more shots, cock the gun, 2 more shots. It's very, very effective at the right playstyle and ranges. This is one of my favorite guns in the game, and it's definitely underrated because I never see people using it. I always see people using the VLK Rogue and the Model 680, and for some reason still the 725, even though it's not as good as the other shotguns now. Yeah, this is definitely one of the better shotguns in the game, in my opinion. In the muzzle slot, we've got the monolithic suppressor for the sound suppression and damage range. Of course, you can take a choke for a tighter pellet spread and damage range as well. This is kind of a toss-up depending on whatever you do want to take here. There's neither a wrong answer here. In the barrel slot, we do have the forged tack sentry for the damage range and a tighter pellet spread. The 5mm laser for the hip fire accuracy and sprinter fire speed is super strong. The MUZZLE foregrip for the recoil control and aim down sight speed, and the stipple grip tape to get those sights up nice and quickly. Definitely one of the more underrated weapons in the game, as you just never see people using this over other options. Like the Model 680 and VLK Rogue are probably better, but they both definitely go on our top 10 best guns in the game list at the moment, whereas I don't think this would, but it's still a very, very powerful shotgun. Like, you're definitely going to rack up those kills and those close quarters engagements if you are using this. In the number 2 slot, we do have one of my favorite weapons in the game that never gets used by anyone despite having a 2-shot kill. If you're landing those headshots, the Uzi does have a potential 2-shot kills with the right class setup. Really, really powerful. So underrated in this game. In terms of our attachments here, we've skipped over the muzzle. No monolithic suppressor required. We do have the FSS Carbine Pro Barrel for the damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This is an option that you do have to unlock with a very convoluted, sometimes hard to unlock sort of strategy that I can't really remember off the top of my head. Of course, very, very powerful for shooting people at range. Extending out our 2-shot kill as far as possible is always going to be good. The no stock for the movement speed and aim down sight speed. This is, of course, as well, I'll mention this now, the All That Glitters variant, which does have an improved iron sight over the standard one, which it can be a little bit janky to use. In the underbarrel, we do have the MUZZLE foregrip. Get those sights up nice and strong, never moving with the recoil. Also, hip fire is a good option. If you do have the 5mm laser attached, you can just basically be a hip fire machine with this. One of the most important attachments and the huge buff that the Uzi did receive is the .41 AE 32 round mags for the damage and range. Very, very important to get those strong bullets down range. You do typically want to run the ammo box because you're not going to find any of this lying around. No one's running this weapon, and there's no other ammo type like this in the game, so you do need the ammo box to refresh that ammo. Definitely allows us to continue our 2-shot kills at those medium range, which is super, super effective if we are landing those headshots. And lastly, rounding us off with the stipple grip tape. Again, just get those sights up super quickly, allowing us to get those easy kills. You can, of course, do some very serious work with the Uzi, and it's one of my favorite weapons in the game. Definitely belongs on the top 10 best guns list as well. It is severely underrated. Nobody uses this thing, and I hate the disrespect that the Uzi does get because it was one of the worst weapons in the game, but now it is one of the better options. And lastly, the number 1 underrated weapon in the game is the FR556. Now, you might be wondering, what is this absolute disaster of a class setup that you can see here doing in my game? Like, he's put the underbarrel shotgun on a weapon and thinks it's one of the best weapons in the game. This definitely belongs on the top 10 best guns list, but I can never justify putting it on over like an M4 or a Graf 556. It is just one of the better weapons in the game for sure. People just really don't like the 3-round burst weapons in Call of Duty unless they are absolutely broken. Like the M16 in Modern Warfare originally was one of the best weapons ever in Call of Duty history, so this doesn't really compare to that too favorably. Like, you could get a 2-shot kill on a 3-burst weapon, which is pretty hilarious, but this particular class has it all basically. With the FR 24.4-inch sniper barrel, we do get our range, velocity, and control. Basically, this makes this a laser, which does very, very good damage at pretty much all ranges. If you are landing those all bullets in the burst, you'll pretty much get a 1 burst most of the time at most ranges. In the optics slot, we do have the Geomini reflex because it's a little bit more difficult to hit those shots when you do have the iron sights with this. We have the FSS tack wrap for the stock slot for the aim down sight speed, one of the better options in this particular class setup. Get those sights up nice and quickly. We do also have the stippled grip tape as well, the aim down sight speed and sprinter fire speed. And what is this we see? The 12-gauge deputy shotgun. Why has he included this? Well, the underbarrel shotgun is actually decent. Like, it's a particularly underrated attachment on one of the most underrated weapons in the game. If you are in close quarters, this will definitely do the job for you. It's sometimes a 1-shot kill at about 5-6 meters or so, and then it's going to be a 2-shot after that. But it does actually allow you to fire very, very quickly with this, so you can get those 2 shots up and down range very, very quickly. So we have a 1-shot kill or 1 burst kill out to about 50 meters or so. And then if somebody does get too close to us, we whip up the 12-gauge deputy shotgun and blast people away. This is definitely the most underrated weapon in the game because people don't really like the 3-burst weapons in most games unless they are absolutely broken, which I don't think this is broken. I think it's just appropriately powerful based on some of the other weapons that are in the game at the moment. But man, this thing is literally the best of both worlds in terms of long range and close range. You can do pretty much everything with this, and you are very, very effective at both roles with this. And it is a perfect number 1 on our list. It was always going to be the FR556 because nobody uses it apart from real people. Like, the real ones know that this weapon is busted. Anyway, we have our top 10 most underrated guns. If you did enjoy this one or you do disagree with my list, make sure you do leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe if you are new around here, of course. I'd love to hear what you have to say about these underrated weapons, if I've missed anything, and so on. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!